And welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am Master Bilbo, the lead developer behind Wars of Arda, and mod contributor to Divide and Conquer and Silmarillion Total War. So, before I get started with this battle replay, I just have some disclaimers related to in-real-life stuff to get out of the way first. So first of all, I'm in a hotel right now, so hopefully, I've been here before, and it's usually been pretty quiet. It's a really nice hotel, so hopefully there's not really any horrible background audio, but if there is, I'll just have to ask you to pardon me. I don't have my dedicated microphone set up or anything like that. Secondly, I'm about to begin my third year of medical training, and so I'm not sure just how busy and or not busy I will be. So initially, at least, I'm going to have to ask you all to bear with me, as I probably will just churn out a bunch of YouTube shorts, because they're easy to make, and they seem, quite honestly, to get the most traffic. They're a lot less work, but I will do the occasional replay, just because I know that I like to be able to watch replays. And with other YouTubers kind of setting things off to the side for in-real-life reasons, there's fewer and fewer channels available now to be providing replays, so we'll do what we can here, but I have a very intense career, a very intense schedule, so we'll see what I can do. That out of the way, this was I'll go ahead and start. This was a game that I played with JMonster over here, as well as with Scouts of Entertainment, and I believe it was Artorias was the other one. This was, some of you probably already saw this already, though. This was, I'll go ahead and pause it real quick. This was a battle that we streamed on Scouts' channel, and it was meant to showcase Valinor. I'm pretty sure that was the purpose. So, I'll go ahead and just blitz through my army. I love to play as the House of Finwe. I've read the Silmarillion. I've listened to the audiobook, and I've listened to the Children of Hurin, the Tale of Beren and Luthien, and the Fall of Gondolin as well, multiple times, in fact. And each time, that's another disclaimer I'll make real quick. I don't know if it's my allergies that's bothering me or what, but I may have to cough or clear my throat a good number of times in this. It hurts like that. So I have to ask you to forgive me for that. Try to keep it to a minimum, though. But anyhow, yeah, I love the House of Finwe. I think that they are probably the easiest house of all the Noldor to appreciate, because they're not as... I hesitate to call Feanor evil, but man, does he try my patience. So, anyhow, yeah, I love the House of Finwe, and I love Fingolfin's roster. The Edain component in particular, so that's the human component, the Fjerdsmen, the Herdsmen, I believe, or the Pikes, is that what they're called? Sentries of Ithilien, I'm sorry. The Herdsmen are the archers. And then they pull out two-handed axes. They're AP, of course, in melee. So I like to bring those three units in particular, as many of them as I can get. pikes, well, just phalanx units, but especially pikes, like the Sentries of Hithlum, are rare in Silmarillion. In fact, I can only think of... Let's see, there's the Elathrim have one, obviously Fingolfin have one, Angband have Ironshot Halberdiers, and does House of Finarvin have one, maybe? Oh, and Valinor now have one. But none of the other factions do. And so it's really important that when you have access to a pike, that you bring them. Especially in a field battle. Because cavalry seem to be a lot more important in Silm than they are in other mods. So I brought as many of those as I can go, or as I can get. I always make sure to bring the Hirumatar units. You get one, the Hirumatar Baradithal, and the the Armatar. That's right, the Armatar Baradithal. You get two of those, so I've brought two of them, and I believe I've taken the armor upgrade. Could be wrong about that though. I usually try to armor upgrade them. I have Sons of Huron. Never leave home without them if you're playing as Fingolfin. Entirely too good for their money. Slightly smaller unit size, but well worth it in my opinion. I believe I've taken. I take as many Fjordsmen in particular as I can. Fjordsmen and sentries. And if I don't have enough money to get the full red limit, then I'll go grab a detachment of Fjordsmen. So I believe I've done that here. I take the Irumo Arantar, which we've actually used this model in Wars of Arden for Linden. And I've done, I believe they get 2 levels of armor upgrade now. So I've maxed them out, and I've put my general here. You can see Fingolfin. I always try to take 2 units of Marines of Vinyamar, because they are armor-piercing javelins. That's something that Silmarillion does a little bit differently. Not every javelin is guaranteed to be AP, so when you do have AP javelins, try to take it. So I took a couple of those, and I don't usually take Fingolfin's Lancers, but I had the money for it. I thought I'd try it this time. So I brought one of those, and then I brought the... I can't remember their name, something Findicana? Arquini Findicana, that's it, okay. Yeah, so these guys love the model. I don't know who made that model. I suspect... it could have been JMonster, but I suspect it was probably Castellan. If you end up watching this, Jay, and I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, but I suspect that's Castellan. Anyway, yeah, they have AP arrows, as denoted by their green arrow trail. So, very powerful. And that's my army. Jay's army. He's gone with the House of Feanor. Very cavalry focused. So they've brought, but they do have a fair number of infantry choices that are pretty powerful. So he's brought the Footmen of Amras. Lots of Footmen of Amras. Probably what I would do too if I were playing as them. He's brought Riders of the Pass. Are these? Yeah, they are mounted archers. That's right. I don't remember. I'm not as familiar with the House of Feanor's roster really. So I don't know if they're AP heroes or anything. I would be surprised if they were. Hunters of Kelegorm. This is the heavy hitter unit of cav that Feanor can bring. I believe it's like a bodyguard tier. And then he's got a lot of Vidine with the Helivorn and Thargelion. Come on. Or if he's taking any third gale. Rangers available one. A lot of Javs. I thought the... Oh. Bring 2 of them. Maybe they're not a bodyguard. Not a company of Griffin. They're a mounted skirmisher unit. Pretty powerful. More Riders of the Pass. And... But this was just the Riders of Amraz. Or the Footmen of Amraz. Yeah. I think he's probably got quite a bit in here that's hidden, if I had to guess. So anyhow, we'll go ahead and get started. I will 6 times this. Now, what we're playing against double Blessed Realm of Valinor, and the Achilles heel of Valinor is being able to efficiently kite them and force them to take fights of attrition. Try to draw out the fight. If you try to rush them, you'll get smashed. If you try to skirmish with them, you'll get ripped to shreds by their shoal hunters. So I will zip up here. And we'll go ahead and knock it down to like 7 or some nonsense. So yeah, the thing about Valinor is very low unit size, but more than half their roster have 2 hit points. So the Hearthguard Tyrion are one of those. So the Noldor, the remnant of Noldor that remained in Aman and Valinor, are represented by the Tyrion units. So this is the Hearthguard. I love that. I absolutely adore that model. Yeah, I have some ideas for that. Shoal Hunters of Alcalande. So all the Alcalande units are the Teleri that end up getting massacred by the House of Feanor in the first Kinslaying. And they're pretty weak, to be honest. Especially the Sentries and what are they called? Swan Guard and the Mariners. I personally wouldn't take any of them. Maybe I would take the Mariners. I don't remember if the Swan Guard loadout they had. But I would definitely not take the Sentries. Their morale is just too fragile. They're kind of like they're similar to Carlin or Erebor from Reforged, in that their morale is very fragile. And they just don't have the firepower to really do any kind of meaningful damage. So I'm not a huge fan of the Teleri units. I am in principle. And I know that they're going to get tweaked some, which is good. But so we've covered the Noldor, the Teleri, and now the Vanyar. The Vanyar are what are they called? Otherwise known as, I believe they're also known as the Quendi. Correct me if I'm wrong, Silm fanatics, but yeah, so these are the single most blessed group of elves. They are closer to the Valar of Valinor than anybody else. So anyway, given that, they are all AP and 2 hit points. So I decide to move up my Arqueni Vindicanum and try to shoot them from their right side. My AP arrows knock a few hit points off. Not too many of them are going to drop, of course, with their 2 hit points, but looks like we've killed 1 or 2. Jay's over here harassing 4 scouts. Let's see. I wasn't actually paying too much attention right here. That's a company of Kurafin. This is very bizarre. Just kind of sitting there next to each other. Shoal Runners here. Again, the Shoal Runners are... I love the model. I love the fact they're on a unicorn, too. I think that's really cool. I just don't know that... I'd take them. If I were playing as Valinor, to be honest. They just don't do the damage they need to. Mounted Company of Kurafin are going to be a royal pain in the rear for them. Although, I mean, if they're able to get in close enough to use their jabs, of course they're going to be a pain. But, you know, horse archers can really keep things at a distance. Now, the Knights of Tyrion here are gross. You know, they're not a Lancer unit, and yet they have a devastating charge. Maybe they don't. And I just know I played another game where somehow a player was able to get a really lucky, insanely lucky charge on my general on the left side. I didn't think anything of it. I was going to let them just charge into my general unit because it was the Silmarillion Total War. And just, you know, tie them up and then bring in spears to stab away at them and knock them down. But no, they sniped the general, and everyone in the match was stunned at that. So I'd have to check their stats to be sure, but if if it is the case that, damn. See, again, their soul runners just got shredded. Oof. Yeah, so maybe my biggest critique for the Knights of Tyrion is their charge might be a little steep. I don't know, though. I'd have to actually check their stats to be sure. Yeah, I don't want to render judgment based on what would you say, anecdotal circumstance. Now, at this point, I don't really know too much about Valinor's roster. I just see javelins, and I'm scared that they might be AP. So I'm just going to try to give them something to keep them at arm's distance. A little bit further than that, in fact, if I can, just by shooting at them a bit. I could not care less. I know I've seen enough replays at the time of this battle with Valinor in it to know that the sentries of Alcalande are not enough of a threat for me to care. And this is something I'm kind of looking forward to. I'm moving up my... Where are they at? Yeah, I've got my Marines of Vinyamar here. And the idea is going to be pull the archers back, bait the Wild Riders of Arome. Wait, did scouts say 2 of them? Huh. He took 2. I was not expecting that. So yeah, he got a decent charge into the Herdsman of Ithlam. Fair enough. But here come the jabs. And this is going to hurt. Or sorry, where are my... Here we go. Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that. Ouch. That hurt. And that was the idea. Bait them in, hit them with jabs, get the Marines back out. But don't pull them back too far. In fact, if I can... Yeah, I'm going to shoot them in the back with my archers as they pull back. By the way, while we're here, I contributed like 0.02% to the creation of this unit. I found a... it's the skull. I found that in... amongst, I believe it was Botet. And I cut it up and sent it to Jay because he said he wanted to use it, so there's my 5 seconds of fame. I'm hoping to be able to contribute a bit more to Silm as time goes on, but oh, I also contributed a little bit to their what was it? Where are they at? Here they are. To their little spear. I think I did. Yeah, it's the little horns there on the spear. I also picked out of a unit from Beginning of the End Times. So credit to them for the original asset, but I like to think that I transformed it a little bit. Mariners of Alcalande are going to throw their jabs into me obnoxiously. And now I am terrified of these shoulders. And so it's going to prompt me to make a big mistake. Yeah. Yep. I was going to try to just surprise charge him, prompt him to, pull the Wild Riders in, but it didn't work. They just ended up routing. So, horrible move on my part. Don't make that same mistake. And at that point, I was kind of flustered for a moment. And then Jay's like, yeah, just, use your Edine. They are absolutely pelting me. Get the herdsman out of there. Use the Fierdsman of Dorloman in this formation. This guy should be running. I don't know why they're not. Pretty sure I told them that. Yeah, there they go. Right, so there's not really much I can do to deal with these shoal runners. Or, I'm sorry, shoal hunters. Shoal runners are the cavalry. The only thing I can really do is just absorb their ammo as efficiently as I possibly can. So we're going to have a bit of a quiet period. I don't know what is going on back here. Artorias using shoal runners. Cantabrian Circle to shoot at. Jay's Mounted Company. I don't think Jay cares whatsoever about them. I certainly wouldn't. Riders of the Pass are still back here harassing them. So, that's a big help here. Okay, so as I'm kind of getting my... as I'm kind of regrouping here, I'm going to pull back the herdsman. Use the Fierdsman here. Loose formation, they've got a shield, halfway decent armor. They'll just have to absorb this. They're dirt cheap. It's fine. I have other ways of dealing with the Valinor Cav. I'll just knock it up to 1 speed. So, as I say, we're just going to have to absorb as much Shoal Hunter ammo as we can. This is really the only Talera unit that's worth their weight in gold here. But yeah, and now a lot of newer players would freak out watching their Fierdsman of Dorloman here just get ripped to pieces like this. I think the temptation would be there to think, oh shit, I gotta do something about this. My men are dying. But no, you just want to keep a cool head, realize this is a calculation that's we've accounted for these casualties. And the fact that Artorias is kind of playing into our hands and throwing so much ammo into cheap spears is precisely what we want to see. It looks like Scouts is doing the same thing. I don't know where he's throwing. Yeah, just more Fierdsmen, it looks like. He might be trying to target the sentries back here, but I'm just going to keep moving them back. So if you take nothing else of Childer's help, I thought they had a unit called, Hunters of Thargelion or something that were also the dying unit. These guys remind me of Rohan, actually. They look cool. And yeah, this looks really ugly. And in fact, yeah, they're up quite a bit. But you just have to hold your nerve in a situation like this. You can't let your opponent intimidate you into doing something reckless like charging out of them. You just have to hold your nerve, take your licking, and once they're out of ammo, then the real fight can begin. And see, look, he's throwing Mariner ammo into them. Man. Sorry, I guess my throat's struggling here. Okay, so he's throwing into my Marines at Vinyamar. I do want to keep them alive if I can. I believe that's Artorias doing that, which is a good choice of target. Not the best, but it's not bad. Oh, it's actually Scouts doing that. Good work, Scouts. Or is he throwing into the footman of Amras? That's actually not the worst choice of target either. See, he just charged forward, broke a couple units of Feudsmen. Sucks, but could have been worse. So I'm just going to countercharge him. Shoal Hunters, they do have these nice maces, but they're by no means the end-all be-all in melee. They are Teleria. Mariners of Alcalande are actually halfway decent in melee. Good sword and board unit. So I'm just going to rush forward with all my herdsmen of Hithlin too. Their axes here will really do a number on a lot of these boys. And we're going to take some licks with all the javelins, but I spy an opportunity here. Artorias has made a very poor mistake by bringing the Peacekeepers up so early. I have Marines of Vinyamar with plenty of javelins left that are AP, and he's just turned his back to me. I guess they're not. They're not back. They were for a second there, and they are just in range. So, time for us to give Valinor a taste of their own medicine here. And he, to his credit, he does pull them out pretty quick. Riders of the Pass keeping a lot of the Valinor cav, if not at bay, it makes them think twice about wanting to charge. And they are going to absorb quite a bit of all this sentry. Now, I was kind of dunking on the sentries earlier, but, when you get enough of them together, they are a strength 5 missile attack. That will do a number eventually. Frontline fight here is going to go Valinor's way for a little bit. Sorry, guys. And now you could probably say I should have committed more here. But look at all these shoal hunters, though. There's, Scouts still has loads of them. And I appreciate Jay being a good sport about this, taking the brunt of Valinor's AP projectiles. Because I do not want to throw my sentries in there. Jeez. Getting tough. Things are sort of stabilizing here. The Teleri are certainly going to hate this fight. Oh, I did commit the Sons of Finwe. No, I didn't. Sorry, that's just an officer. Sons of Finwe must be back here somewhere. There they are, yep. I am going to commit them, though. Or we're going to get them in position to go. Going to keep the Armatar back for a bit longer. Armatar, Barrett, Ithel, both units are going to stay back here. We're going to slowly move stuff up kind of in this area, just so everything's in position. On this side of things, looks like Jay's got things mostly in. They just don't have the cavalry to deal with Feanor. Hunters of Caledorn will rip shoal runners of Alcatraz. Dear Lord. Savage. Peacekeepers would be a nice counter to it, but, I mean, Feanor's cavalry is just going to be able to run circles. Now, this is the counter to Feanor, or the Knights of Tyrion. They'll carve their way through Feanor Cav, most of it anyway. Rangers of Helleborn breaking. These White Riders of Rome probably going to break, because these are spears. They're wavering now. It's always really strange when that happens, when a when a unit's winning a fight but is wavering at the same time. I always found that really bizarre. Yep. And yeah, they're taking some friendly. Excuse me, they're taking some friendly fire here. Rear charge on the shoulder. This is fantastic to see. And they're pushing through. Where are we going? Back Peacekeepers could be deadly. Oof, yeah, there you go. Nice, Jay. At this point, Jay's kind of freaking out a little bit.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Yeah, and rightly so. So I decide to commit the Aramil and in and amongst some sentries of Hithlin, stabilize this flank here. Just a bunch of squishy Teleri mostly over here. But he has Knights of Tyrion, so that's why I sent pikes in with him. And I committed most of my army at this point, because I'm noticing that most of the... well, I mean, needs must, but also it was a good time to do so, because Shoal Hunters are pretty much out of ammo. I've lost Micro over here with my Marines of Vinimar. I will eventually pull them back and start jabbing the last of these Peacekeepers to death. So have Vendicano back here somewhere.
Only half our force remains.
Yeah, that's my army. Kind of struggling a bit. Here they are, yep. They're out of ammo at this point. I don't remember what I ended up shooting. I'm sorry I missed that. But I noticed that Artorias had a fragmented unit of Shoal Hunters back here, so charge them in. Charge them back into the
enemy are badly bloodied. Here. They have lost half their men.
There we go. And that hurts my head breaking. Sucks. Artorias' Knights of Tyrion, still pretty healthy. Sons of Huron will make this a pain. In fact, they'll probably beat their way through our guard at Tyrion. Just they're just that aggressive. Shoal Runners of Alcalande got a halfway decent charge there, actually. But I still would back the Rangers to hell up to win that fight. Knights of Tyrion in our back line, though, is bad news bears. We need to... So, a lot of stuff is going to happen really fast here. I'm going to be micromanaging the ever-living hell out of my units here on the front line, and really depending on Feanor's footmen of Animals to keep things together so I can deal with this cab. Look at that. I managed to turn them around just in time. Comes some Marines of Vinimar. I believe they're out of ammo. I turned some sentries of Hithlin around, cut down the last of Artorias' Wild Riders, I believe. All these Knights of Tyrion are being an absolute royal pain, but other than them, and well, there's still 29 Peacekeepers here. Otherwise, my Harumatar would have things in hand. Some Rings of Vinyamar back here, throwing jazz into the back of these Peacekeepers will probably turn that fight around, to be honest. I don't care if you're 2 hit points. You're taking AP jabs in the back. You're not going to like that. Still pretty evenly matched. At this point, Jay was kind of poo-pooing me, which, you know, fair enough. But I don't think he realized that I was going to be able to micromanage several units of pikes to deal with these cav charges hitting us in the rear. And I don't know that he knew that I had so many Sons of Finwe and Iron Artorias left. You know, I have nothing but elites, pretty much. Now, am I playing perfectly? Absolutely not. But I don't need to. I just need to play better enough. See, that charge, that hurt me. But that hurt Scouts Knights of Tyrion more. Same thing with Artorias' Knights here. They're going to take a beating if they're staying there way too long. And fair play to them, they just routed some sentries of Hithlum. Yeah, but running them back in like that just probably... I mean, look at how many Knights of Tyrion have died now. I got a counter charge on them. I have Marines of Vinyamar throwing javelins into I think anyway.
Our ally lies dead, slain by the enemy.
So that's Feanor's general.
Avenge him.
And that would be against the, what they call it, Sentinels of Tyrion, I believe. I remove Arantar, pull out of that fight because it's going... At least it, well, yeah, it's going my way well enough. And Feanor has enough cav around, I believe, to handle these shoal hunters. Yeah. And we need to just deal with all these mariners. Good charge there by the Knights of Tyrion, scouts. But I think I'm going to be able to bring them down. Yep. I'm bringing a lot of them down. Got a good counter charge off on these Knights of Tyrion. They're so tanky, it's hard to kill them. Sons of Huron kind of struggling right now against all these Peacekeepers that are 2 hit points in AP. So we'll back them up with some Marines of Vinyamar. We're going to get charged again. And hitting the right side, that's not good. And we have Armatar coming back in. Knights of Tyrion. Gonna kill another one? So painful. There goes another unit of Knights of Tyrion. That one's actually completely dead now. I remove Arantar. We'll rinse these mariners. Well, I guess maybe... Yeah, I mean, yeah, even with the Peacekeepers there, they'll probably win, because they haven't seen that much action yet. Herdsman came back from routing, actually. Got a rear charge into our Valinor boys here. And we're going to charge in to some... Yep, Peacekeepers. Going to get an AP charge. It's not going to feel good. This little unit of shoal hunters is being an absolute pain. So I'm going to charge them, I believe, this unit of herdsmen. It's really the only thing keeping this fight alive for our opponents here, Peacekeepers. And we have sentries of Hithlum moving in now. So this point,
have slain the enemy general. Without him, his
Valinor
troops
general
will lose their will to fight.
Pretty much, this is just, it's kind of down to me at this point. I managed to ration my elite units pretty well. Just a handful of footmen of Amras. There goes another, the other Valinor general, so it's looking up for us. But it is tight, very tight game. Peacekeepers of Valinor shaken by a unit that is their lesser. 2 units that are their lesser. power of a general death. And they're good. Yeah, we just smashed through the last of Valinorian resistance there. Good charge from Artorias there with his Knights of Tyrion, but it's not going to save his 4 pieces, or scouts his 4 peacekeepers. Knights of Tyrion are not on this world. And there they go. This game's pretty much over now. That's some Hearthguard of Tyrion there. That's a pretty strong unit. So scouts, good work on preserving that. They're gonna get surrounded. Pikes, AP, another unit that's about their equal from the outer Errant Tower. I believe I have a handful of Sons of Huron left, perhaps. Maybe not. Oh, I do, yeah. 6 Sons of Huron. And he's about to get a kill, I think. Nope. And over here.
Victory is ours.
There we go.
But only by a sword's edge.
Oh. So to all my haters out there, my original plan of just slowly rationing my units in worked. About equal in terms of kills and prisoners taken with Jay there. Just pretty happy about that. And I think this is the power of a Nidine heavy build for Fingolfin. You can just out attrition a heavy hitter like Valinor. So anyhow, let's see what did the damage. I'm sure there's nothing that's really going to scream at us. Unit of Herdsmen of Hithlum, though, getting 136 kills is surprising. Probably a bunch of squishy Teleri, I would guess. Everything else kind of meant. Now, keep in mind, though, Valinor's units are very elite and very small unit sizes, so I was never going to get a ton of kills. Like I might have against Angband or Tolan Galroth, maybe, but Iron Arantar, I think, won the day. Yes, 146. Second place to that unit of Herdsmen of Hithlum, surprisingly. And third place, usually my Sons of Huron do the best. 103, closely followed by a 1 hit point Swordmaster unit. 101. So interesting results there. Yeah, there you go. Looks like the Sons of Finwe, the first High King of the Noldor, managed to withstand the Lords of the West. Yeah, so much for the Doom of the Doom of Mandos, and the ban. Oh, actually, I believe didn't the Valar ban Feanor from their capital city? Anyway, they got smacked for it. So anyway, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll try to put this up probably tonight. I'll get it rendered up tonight, and probably do some shorts after this. I might try to squeeze in another replay for Wars of Arda, because I've played a handful of those. I've got a couple that might make some good viewing. We'll just see how things go. Just bear with me over the next few weeks, guys. So anyhow, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time for our next adventure.